Hey everyone, and welcome to Math Tips with Mrs. Townsend. Today we are going to be talking about subitizing, and I'm going to show you an easy activity you can make for your kids to work with subitizing. So subitizing is the ability to instantly recognize the number of objects in a small set without actually counting them. When you roll a dice, and let's say you roll a 6, chances are you don't actually count out each of the dots. Instead, you recognize the pattern of 3 rows of 2 as being equal to 6. The same is true for dominoes. You're able to subitize the dots and see the amount without having to count each dot. One key part of effective subitizing is developing number pattern recognition. This mathematical skill allows students to gain a grasp of numbers and advance to higher levels of addition and subtraction. Subitizing develops essential math concepts such as unitizing, counting on, composing and decomposing numbers, and flexibility with addition and subtraction. Many subitizing activities involve showing an image of a collection of objects to the student for just a second, then asking them to take a mental snapshot in order to identify how many objects are included in the image. So I'm going to show you an easy way to get your kids subitizing. These are great for math centers and during transition times, and a great activity for parents to do with their kids at home. So these are dot plates that I made with just some cheap plates and black dot stickers. I arranged the dots in a variety of ways. Okay, so students should start subitizing with numbers to 5. Like this plate, this one is to 5. Okay, then this goes like up to 6. So when they're subitizing at first, you want to stay within 5. Once they're able to instantly recognize the quantity, then they can start working with quantities that are larger than 5. So in this case, students will typically see 2 subgroups and then combine the 2 subgroups to recognize the total number. For example, you might have seen 3 and 3, and then you would combine those for 6. Okay, let's try a few together so I can model the process. I'm gonna flip over a plate. I want you to think about how many dots that you see without counting them one by one. Okay, so I'm gonna show the plate for 2 to 3 seconds and then turn it back around. Okay, then I would ask the child, how many dots did you see? How did you see that? Then you're gonna discuss the different patterns that help the child subitize. It's important to engage students in a conversation about how they knew how many dots there were without actually counting. For instance, on this plate, a student might have seen, well, I see 4 and then 3 here. Or they might have said, well, I see 3, 3, and then 1 in the middle. Another student might have said, well, I see 2, 3, 2. Okay, so they're gonna see 7, but there's gonna be different ways that they see that amount. So students can recognize multiple ways to find the number. The important thing is that they're learning to create the subgroups with the dots and then using those subgroups to find the total number quickly. This process is called quick flashes or quick images. As they get comfortable with the process, then you can show the image for a shorter time. The important thing is that you show it briefly enough that the children are not counting the dots one by one, but rather recognizing the quantity automatically. So let's do another. Let's see. Let's do this one. How many dots do you see? And then you would talk about how they saw those dots. To add on to this, students could use 2 color counters and represent the subgroups they saw in the different colors. You could also have students write the equation that matches how they saw the quantity. For example, for this one, a student could use, oh, I saw 2 red, and then I saw 4. They're going to represent that in yellow. So that is 6. Or they might have seen 2, 2, and 2, 6. There's a lot of different subitizing card options for various levels. For younger students, there's subitizing cards that have like finger patterns. There's 5 frames and 10 frames with dots. There's tally marks, and dominoes are great for subitizing too. So there's some really great subitizing slides on a website that I'm going to show you. There's 10 sets, and each set has 10 Subitizing slides and a challenge pattern. So I'm going to walk you through that site and show you how to access those, and then I'll put the link in the comments as well. So this is the site that has the Subitizing slides. It's stevewyborny.com. But if you just Google Steve Wyborny Subitizing slides, it will be the first thing that pops up. But I'll put this link in the comments as well. So if you scroll down, you'll see where he explains a little bit about the slides and how they work. But basically, there are 10 sets, and each set has 10 slides, Subitizing slides, and a challenge image. So if you click here, it'll download as a PowerPoint, which will look like this. And then if you present it, it will show a Subitizing slide, and then the next one will be a blank slide, so that it will be like a quick image where you can say, here it is. Okay, now in a couple seconds it's gone. Think about, what did you see, how many did you see, and how did you see it? And then if you want to flip back and talk about it, then you can. But you can go through them however quickly you need to for the level of your child, or the student that you are working with. But there are 10 of them. So I'm just going to go through these quickly so that I can show you at the end the challenge set. So he explains in the PowerPoint how the challenge set works, but basically instead of saying how many dots there are, the child's going to try to find as many ways as possible to show how to get that total. So they'll see just one of these sets at first, and then you'll click to the next slide, and there will be several of the same arrangement so that you can discuss the different ways that you might see that number. So these all are the same arrangement for 7, but then you can talk about the different ways you might see it, like the 2 at the top, then 3 in the middle, then 2 at the bottom, maybe diagonally, 4 and 4, but you counted the one in the middle twice, so you take one away, filling in the holes in the corners, thinking about that total being 9, and then taking those 2 back away, 7. Here's another way you might see it, and here. So just kind of discussing the different arrangements that you might be able to see. So this one has this one, and then it'll show several copies of it so that you can discuss the different ways you see it. So these Subitizing slides from Steve Wyborny are really great to use to help students with their Subitizing skills. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and share the video, and let me know if you use this with your kids. As always, see you next time on Math Tips with Mrs. Townsend.